Good morning. My name is Don Zavis. I'm a national sales trainer and sales coach, and I do keynote speaking on revenue development topics throughout the United States. And I wanted to thank you for joining us for today's installment of Sales Triage. This particular one is an interesting one because it talks about positioning statements. So let me kind of share with you what a positioning statement is. A positioning statement is something that a salesperson does that creates a definitive location, right? They're going to say something like, I would never do this, or I would always do this. You should never, you should always. But a positioning statement is kind of a stand your ground type of situation, right? And the reason that that's so bad, on the surface that wouldn't necessarily seem like it was terribly bad. But here's the problem. Once you have a positioning statement, you really have no place to go from that. So, give you a great example. I was working with a client one time. They happened to sell a PC line of laptops, standard PC line. Right? And in the course of conversation, they invited some clients into the office, and they were just talking about the different technologies, the different types of computers that were out there. And he made a statement that he wasn't a very big fan of Apple computers. Little did he know, however, that the client that he was talking to had an office full of Macs. Needless to say, he did not make that sale. So a positioning statement is something that we say or we do that unfortunately pigeonholes us into a corner. Now, I'll give you a great example. There's an adage in sales training and coaching that says a professional sales trainer, professional salesperson is always in a round room. And when I say they're always in a round room, what that essentially means is they can never paint themselves into a corner. There's never anything that they're going to say or do that's going to put them at odds with the client. So they may say, for example, now, I will never encourage you to lie, cheat, or steal, all right? But I will encourage you to color right up to the line. So I'll give you an example. In that scenario where they were talking about computers, he sold PC computers. And instead of making a statement, I'm not a big fan of Apple computers, he could have said, what do you think about Apple products? Now, the prospect would have said one of two things. I love them or I hate them. But regardless of what he would have said, my client would have then had the opportunity to position himself in a way to not be opposite or contrary to the client. They may have said, we love Apple products. And he could have had the opportunity to say, you know what, I don't do a lot with them, but I'm anxious to try to work with them in the future. Or they could have said, you know what, we don't really like them, we've had some bad experiences. And he could have then said, you know what, I'm not very familiar with them, but I've heard some things like that in the past. The idea of a positioning statement is something that we do that unfortunately, again, paints us in that corner. I would never use this product. I would only use this product. We would never do this. We would only do this. You should never, you should always. Always keep positioning statements out. Again, a professional salesperson is always in a round room. They will never paint themselves into a corner because they never create a position that substantiates themselves enough to be pigeonholed in that corner. So watch the language that you use. Watch the conversations that you have. Be very conscientious to how much of your own personality comes into the meeting, certainly initially. Now, as your relationship goes on and the faith and trust is built up, certain more of your personality can come out. But initially, your clients get whatever personality they want. A professional salesperson is always in a round room. My name is Don Zavis. Don Zavis Sales Training, our high-quality graphics here, as you can see. 248-497-5869. I can be reached at donzavis@comcast.net, and I truly appreciate your time.